All right, we're here with the second video for today. We're going to be talking about some of the election stuff that's going on, what's campaigning, what's being rallied, and I guess Joe Biden's newest gaffe. I don't know what a Trina Manazenda Pacifica is, but apparently it's one of the most important things for Biden at this point. So we'll kind of get into it. That was just, Biden's latest gaffe. I'm pretty sure he's like having some of these weird mini strokes when he talks, because he's just putting all these different words together at this point. But up first, we got from Breitbart, Florida Democrats panic as election day approaches. We've got to stop the bleeding. Apparently, even with early voting, Republicans are, I believe, surpassing the Democratic vote in Florida, and they're panicking because usually it's supposed to just be just a huge amount of blue votes for them, and it doesn't seem to be. It says Democrats are expressing unease as the election enters its final stretch, acknowledging that progressives are not seeing sufficient voter turnout in Florida's Miami-Dade, the county in which Democrats need a strong showing to flip the state blue, particularly among young minority voters. Statewide, Republicans have outpaced their opposition in early voting, holding a 474,000 early voter advantage and narrowing the Democrats' overall lead, which they hold because of the sizable increase in absentee voting, to less than 164,000 on Friday. As of Thursday, 53% of Democrat voters had turned out to vote in the crucial blue county compared to the 59% turnout for Republicans. The 6-point lead is twice the margin Republicans had at this point in 2016, according to Politico. Among Hispanic voters, who make up nearly 70% of the county's population, the deficit is even bigger, 9 points, the outlet reported. Matt Isbell, a Florida-based Democratic data analyst, told Politico the issue with Hispanic turnout appears to be worse in Miami-Dade than nearby counties. Democrats have a big turnout issue in the Hispanic community in Miami-Dade, he said, noting that Hispanic turnout for Republicans is 57% compared to 48% for Democrats. This large of a gap doesn't exist in Broward or Orange. It is a Miami problem, he said. Why is it a problem? It's not really a problem. Well, I guess it is for, the Democrats, because they want that power. Kimberly Guilfoyle, the National Finance Chair of the Trump Victory Finance Committee, expressed confidence in President Trump's odds in Florida in an interview with Breitbart News this week. She attributed her sentiments to particularly the influx of support from Latinos, the Hispanic community, and everybody coming out for Trump. I mean, he's been doing good work for the Hispanic community, he's been doing great work for the black community, and that's why so many different rappers are going now to endorse Trump. You got Ice Cube that's working on the Platinum Plan, and apparently now Lil Wayne has joined him to help into that. 50 Cent had first endorsed, and then he backtracked it, I guess. He just wanted that poon from Chelsea Handler, but I don't know why you'd want it. But anyways, it's just no surprise that Hispanic voters are picking Trump. We got from Fox News, Biden and Trump hold dueling rallies in battleground Minnesota Friday. Apparently, it's supposed to be a heavy Democrat area in Minnesota, and hasn't flipped red since. They're saying it's a chance of flipping red, and it's been a blue state since 1972, which is 48 years. And if it flips red, that's huge. That is big. But then you got the mainstream media saying, oh, Texas is going to flip. Texas is definitely flipping. Oh, yeah, Texas is going to flip. Somehow, don't quite believe that Texas is going to flip blue. I do know that a lot of people from New York and California have been moving to Texas because, well, they're not in lockdowns. Their economy isn't just shot to hell. So it's no wonder. But hopefully they don't bring their Democrat policies and their Democrat ways with them. To be honest, maybe they need to just think a bit more on why they left, because they voted in these people that put the policies in place that hurt them. So hopefully you don't keep voting for stuff that hurts you. We got Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and President Trump cross paths for a second straight day in a crucial battleground state as they enter the final weekend before Tuesday's vote. On Thursday, they faced off in Florida. Friday, with just 4 days to go until the general election on November 3rd. The showdown takes place in Minnesota, which suggests that a state long carried by Democrats and presidential elections may be in play. President Richard Nixon was the last Republican to win the state during his 1972 landslide re-election. But 4 years ago, Trump narrowly lost Minnesota and its 10 electoral votes in 2016. Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, and for over a year, the president and his re-election campaign have been eyeing the state in hopes of breaking the losing streak and flipping it from blue to red. The average of the latest public opinion polls in the state indicate the former vice president with a mid-single-digit advantage over Trump, but the survey suggests that Trump's gained ground over the past month. Biden's strength is concentrated in the Twin Cities and the surrounding suburban counties, while Trump polls best in the more rural areas across the rest of the state, which is known as Greater Minnesota. The president's event, which has been planned for a few days, is being held at 5 p.m. local time at the airport in the southeastern city of Rochester, although the location of the event was moved twice due to the state's coronavirus restrictions on large crowds, and the event will be dramatically smaller than the president's typical rallies where supporters are packed together without social distancing and limited wearing of masks. I mean, who cares? I mean, Minnesota's got some fairly draconian rules on these lockdowns as well. And I mean, I guarantee you that the mainstream media is going to say that Trump's rally in Minnesota it's like nobody showed up and he's getting almost as many people showed up to Biden's as Trump's or something, even though Trump's will be the one that would get restricted and nobody's actually going to Biden's. Literally nobody is going. He's got some reporters, he's got bodyguards, family members, and just staff members, and that's pretty much at his rally. That's pretty much it. So it's on Thursday afternoon, the Biden campaign announced that the former vice president will hold a socially distanced drive-in car rally in the capital city of St. Paul at 3:30 p.m. local time, just 90 minutes before the start of Trump's event. We're getting presidential visits 4 days out. That means we're in play, Minnesota-based GOP strategist Amy Koch told Fox News. Koch, the first and only woman elected as the state's Senate Majority Leader in Minnesota, emphasized that Democrats always take Minnesota for granted. No one can ever believe that Minnesota's in play, and that was a mistake that Hillary Clinton's camp made in 2016, and it very nearly cost them. Biden's camp at least seems to be heeding that, but they always seem to be playing catch-up. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It seems like Trump goes somewhere and Biden's just got to be right up on his heels to try to outpace him, but he can't. He really can't. I'm surprised Biden isn't calling it a lid at this point. I don't know. I'm sure tomorrow he'll probably call a lid early. And it ain't going to help him, but Trump, I guess, has, 14 rallies over the next 3 days. And I think Biden has a couple for himself, and then he's got other people rallying for him, while Trump's out there by himself, just going at it. That's what you pretty much want in the president. You don't want someone who's only going to be there some of the time and then try to use a proxy. Anyways, we got from Daily Mail, election should end on November 3rd. Donald Trump rages at crazy Supreme Court for allowing Pennsylvania and North Carolina to count late arriving ballots for up to 9 days, claiming, can you imagine what will happen? What will happen? Yeah, apparently you can cast your vote in all the way up until November 12th in a bunch of these states, and yeah, who knows what kind of fraud is going to happen. I mean, Biden did say he has the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in modern history. So I wouldn't be surprised if that voter fraud organization tries to then steal some of these states by allowing votes to come in, 9 days late. Who knows what's going to end up being counted? It's all going to be a farce. That's why I claim that civil unrest is coming, because this election is complete farce. Nobody's going to know who the president is on November 3rd. Nobody's going to know a month into it. It's going to be chaos. We got political scientist Helmut Norpoth predicts Trump has a 91% chance at re-election. Helmut Norpoth, a political scientist, joined the Daily Caller's Katie McDuffie to talk about his primary model that predicts President Donald Trump has a 91% chance of re-election. The model has accurately predicted 25 out of 27 of the last elections, including Trump's win in 2016. While the primary model leans heavily in favor of a Trump win, most polls have former Vice President Joe Biden in the lead. A recent Real Clear Politics poll shows Biden up 7.7 points. Yeah, that's just a lie. Most of the polls from the mainstream media are crap. They're obviously for Biden, and they're just going to go, yeah, Biden's going to win, Biden's going to win, Biden's going to win. Like they were going, Hillary's going to win, Hillary's going to win, Hillary's going to win. And boy, should she lose. So I don't trust the polls by most of the mainstream media. And, I guess if people are 25 out of 27 correct, they probably got a pretty good assumption about what's going to happen. Not the people that completely fell flat on their face in the last election. And then we've got from Gateway Pundit, we've got to stop the bleeding. CNN, Democrats freak out about Republicans outpacing Democrats in Florida. CNN's Allison Camerota on Friday, and Democrats are worried about the Republican turnout in Florida, specifically Miami-Dade County. Hillary Clinton won Miami-Dade County, but ultimately lost Florida in 2016. Joe Biden isn't even close to Hillary Clinton's number in blue Miami-Dade, and Florida Democrat Congresswoman Frederica Wilson has been sounding the alarm to the Biden campaign. Frederica Wilson, who represents Florida's 24th congressional district, told Politico, "I screamed, hollered, I called, I lobbied from the top to the bottom." Wilson said of her efforts to sound the alarm, including sending written proposals to Biden's campaign and having virtual Zoom meetings with his advisors. "We've got to stop the bleeding," Democrats Mark Caputo and Matt Dixon said. Barack Obama's former chief strategist David Axelrod said Joe Biden is in big trouble with black voters. Well, when he says that he doesn't want his kids near them because then it'll be a racial jungle, or if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah, sounds pretty racist to me. I wouldn't vote for him if I was black. I'm not voting for him because I'm white, too. I don't know. I just don't think anybody should really vote for him because, especially with all of the corruption and everything going on, I wouldn't want him in office just based on the corruption. But really, I wouldn't want him in office just because he's a coward more than anything. Every other country is just going to roll over the U.S. is going to just roll over and take whatever any other country tries to do because Biden is just a straight coward. And I'll leave it there. I'll leave it right there with Biden's a coward. I got one more video coming up, and I will see you then. You guys have a good one.